Anecdote number 54 from Zen is right here. Teaching stories and anecdotes of Shunryu Suzuki. Suzuki Roshi usually encouraged me because I was so down on myself. But once, after a one-day sitting, for the first time, I was feeling proud of myself. I went to him and said, "Now I can count every breath. What do I do next?" He leaned forward and said to me fiercely, "Don't ever think you can sit zazen. That's a big mistake. Zazen sits zazen." That was Blanche Hartman at the City Center in 1970. Well, you heard her say, I was feeling proud to him. I said, now I can count every breath. 1970 was a year that he said, let's all do this practice of counting breath. It's a nice, basic, beginner's type practice, and it's a good practice. It's a good way to meditate. And the way he taught it was to count from 1 to 10. I believe on the exhale. Let's see. 1. All right, so then you get to 10 and you go back to 1. And you do it until the bell rings to end the period. And I mentioned this in some other podcasts. Back then, I mean, I usually didn't get to 10. I go, huh? What? Oh, yeah. What? I mean, sometimes I'd say, the last thing I could remember was saying 1. And I was staying up studying late a lot, so sometimes I'd just go 1 and fall asleep. And I could sleep sitting up. I don't know if I got it from there or wherever, but I've always been able to since then. But I count a lot now. Not always, but sometimes. It depends, especially if I'm, if my mind's sort of occupied or something, or it's like counting the breath just sort of nails me to my seat. And, well, this morning I did, because I sort of wanted to get to work. I'd had a number of things I had to do when I first got up, just, chores. And I drink my hot water, and I had left the kitchen clean up till this morning from dinner because I was on the phone till late doing a phone chat with somebody for a podcast. And then so I got up there and I did my walking meditation, and I sat there and I thought, God, it's getting sort of late. I thought, all right, we better count. So I counted from 1 to 10, but then I wouldn't go back to 1 to 10 because I don't sit with the timer. It's every once in a while I do. That's a good thing to do. That's better. But so I just go 1 to 10, and then 1 to 10, except saying 10 the second time I say 20. And so I did that all the way to 250. But the thing is that I lose count. And when I lose count, I go, I don't always lose count. Usually I don't. Usually I know right where I am. But this morning I'd go, oh God, is that 30 or 40? Well, I'd always go down to the lower one. It's penalty. It's a penalty. And so I think by the time I hit 250, it was more like 280 or 290 or something. But then, I finished that, and then not so interested in in getting up and rushing into work, so I just did a while longer. And then I thought, all right, let's go. And then I bow, and then, one thing Suzuki always emphasized is like he'd put his hands on his knees and he'd swing back and forth. Swing just a little bit to the left, just a little bit to the right, and then just a little bit more to the left, and then a little bit more to the right, and you get the idea. Until you fall over on one side. No, just kidding. And anyway, I heard him say that was an important part. And when you go to sit zazen, when you're starting, you do the opposite. Or I do the opposite. I think he would. I mean, he probably didn't. Yeah, he would just swing back and forth a little. But then I think of it as you swing your bigger arcs back and forth, and you get smaller and smaller till you're right in the center. And the way I would think of it is like I'm screwing myself in to the zafu, and at the end of the zazen, I'm unscrewing. Gee, that's the second construction analogy for this podcast. So I screw myself in, and then I nail myself with counting. And then after counting, I sort of staple myself in with, no. But then after I do that, I put both my hands together like in Gassho, and then I stick them way up high. That's hard for me to do because my left arm I can't put up by itself. I have to pull it up with my right hand because of an old accident. Although playing tennis really helped with that, because when I started playing tennis here, I hadn't played in a long time, I couldn't get my arm to throw the ball up for serving. I couldn't get it up very high, so I had to keep doing that, and then I could get it higher and higher, and doing yoga helped. All right, so then I go way up, and then I like to go up until I hear that left shoulder sort of crack. And then I put my elbows back, and turn back and forth a little. And I do a few other things, but I won't go into that. But anyway, what I of course have to keep in mind when I'm sitting zazen is that I'm not sitting zazen. Zazen is sitting zazen. And if I thought I was sitting zazen, that would be a big mistake. And I learned that from Shunryu Suzuki. This has been a Cuke Audio mini podcast. I'm DC Poobah of Cuke Audio and Cuke Archives, coming to you from Sleepy Sanur with Dogga Bandita, Feline Cuchita, and dear lovely Katrinka. And we're wishing you, and yours, and all of us, a grand awakening.